To a ladder game. This is a 4 versus 4 ladder game on Saskiya. Now, we have done Saskiya before. It is a mainly water map, and in fact it's got 5 spawns. There's a spare one here, and some people actually start in the water like this. Will there be a comm drop, says Boxer. Boxer is all about the comm drops, ladies and gentlemen. If there's no comm drop, he's not happy. That's pretty much how it's going to go. Saskiya has a bit of reclaim. There's 37,000 to get. There's a lot of rocks like this around the place, all around the edges of the island, so there's plenty of massive grabs, plenty of stuff to grab. But anyway, let's have an introduction to the players. Team 1 is red, Team 2 is blue, and some nice high rankings here. And let's see what these guys have got to offer. First off here, for team number 1, down here in the burgundy colour as Seraphim, it is Fokov. Fokov, for some reason, he's built his factory for adjacency, but his first mix is not the one beside the factory, so it's not actually getting any adjacency until he completes that. Just up from him in the red, bright red colour, this is Nori. Nori is considered the air player because they have double hydro that they can use to boost the eco on that front. Down in the water for team number 2 in the orange colour, it is Baller, and he's balling away as Aeon. He's grabbing his factory, as is unsurprising, and started working on... Oh, sorry, no, that is actually the factory, building an engineer. Never mind. And up here, last person for team number 1, it is Novaspace. Novaspace is Cybran. Novaspace is in the yellow colour. And you'll excuse me, I'll have a quick drink. Excuse me. And we go say hello to team number 2. First off, team number 2 in the bright blue colour, we have Battlefront. Battlefront is Seraphim, and he also has double hydro. Sorry, I missed that for Fokov. He also has double hydro. These guys on the lane have a wee bit of an advantage. Pretty sure they're supposed to be air players, but anyway, is what it is. His compatriot on the lane a little bit further down here in the light blue colour, this is Oriko. Oriko has just finished his second hydro and starts straight into an air factory. Got some build assistance. That should go pretty damn quickly. In the water in front of him in the cyan colour as Seraphim, it is Magnet. And Magnet, well, let's see if he's magnetized at all and does he draw any bullets towards himself. And up from Magnet in the light pale lavender colour, it is Biomutant 9000 as Cybran. So there we go. We have no UEF on this map whatsoever. There's double Aeon for team number 1 with 1 Cybran, 1 Seraphim. Then there's double Seraphim with 1 Cybran, 1 Aeon for team number 2. So no UEF representation. We will have no bulwark ships with their shields that help improve things, but we do have a couple of Cybrans in the water, so we could expect stealth. Yeah, maybe even some torpedo com action potentially, because they're both capable of it. We also have a lot of air games, and here's the first drop of the day. It's just a bundle of engineers, no boxer. It's not a comm drop, it's just some engineers, and they are making their way over to the side island to get on here, because there is extra eco to be had. There's some trees you can scrounge for a whole lot of extra energy, and some mass out of those. There'll be tree clumps, so there'll be energy and mass to be grabbed out of that, as well as some mixes to fight over, and some rocks along the ridges here to say hello to. In fact, this might be the focus. His engineers drop here, here, and here. Definitely wants to get his hands on that reclaim. Nice big rock here, 300, tasty. But the first combat is a question of where is it going to happen. We do have a speedy frigate that's been sent out from Magnus. Probably going to head over and try and be problematic for these engineers. If there's nothing in the water to slow it down, can get there and cause a wee bit of damage, slow down the production, and reclaim and everything. Just delay. Give yourself a bit more time. Excuse me. Buy yourself some time just to get some extra advantage perhaps on the eco. The question is, will the frigate be seen by this frigate? Might do. It may be picked up on the radar very close to that edge there. That is very, very close. And now, maybe they'll figure it out from the interceptor being shot at, or from the engineer that's about to die. Which has done, and there we go, frigate has been redirected from Novaspace, but this guy has gotten through, and there's some engineers under threat over this direction. If it can just keep running around and causing some havoc, it can do. Right, checking out over here, and we can see a couple of interceptors have flown out from Oriko. He wants to take to there, I guess, from anything coming along, but nothing has come along just yet. The frigate is looking for a target. A couple of engines up here would be great targets. He'll stop the build. Those factories won't get done. The question is, will it redirect to shooting at this frigate? Well, doesn't need to worry about that because those engines are dead. And that is going to be the end of that. But focusing on the factory first, it's going to be an interesting little battle. I say that, but not really. It just needs for this frigate to get away out of range and could maybe kill some more engines. Keeps going this way, which it is. There's a sub out that's going to chase it now. It's going to take a while to trickle it down, but he could kill off another couple of engineers here. Focus those down, stop the builds just like that. Keep going, kill more engines, and it's been a very effective frigate for harassment. Being chased by a frigate, of course, and by a sub. But now wants to focus the engineers down if it can. Looks like that's exactly what happens. 1, 2, not going to get the third, I don't think. I think it's probably going to die first. Well, it does. So that is quite the delay from a single frigate just getting in behind the lines, killing off some engineers, killing off the build power, and yeah, being generally quite annoying. Right, another drop coming in over here, but again, not just engineers. There's a couple of tanks on there, a couple of roars there for protection. So it looks like Oroco is wanting to claim this area, gets a bomber out as well. He's already dropped into the middle of this island. The island's quite handy. They're a little bit sloped, which makes them hard to shoot with like frigates or destroyers. Cruisers with attack missiles should be able to get those. Get on the right angle, the missiles will just fly right on over and cause havoc. And this crater has been dropped by Battlefront. The problem is one of these. Here's the bomb. Here's the engineers. And that is basically 3 kills now for that bomber. Right, top island, we have units pushing up from Battlefront, so he needs to be on the land, needs to push on through, try to get something done. The problem is that Nori has got a good solid base here, 3 factories starting to pump out units, got a backup factory down there. Compare that to this direction and just sort of the 1-2 factories popping out units, not a lot. And not a lot of build power anywhere else, so Battlefront could find himself having some problems should Nori decide to push down with that. Checking out over this side, and well, it's Fokov with his commander getting harassed by a T1 bomber. Not going to get much done as the commander. Every time it goes on past, he probably regens most of his health back. It would take about 10 minutes for a T1 bomber to actually kill there. Engineers in this direction from Oroco are building a forward area. There's an Aurora versus, well, there were 2 Auroras versus a Tham, but at this stage the Tham has killed one and gotten away. Might run into, no, it's going to run into another Aurora. That should be fine. Engineers should live and the factories will start spewing out units, which is needing to be countered here by Fokov. Has he got any tech on the way? No, just unit spam for him for the moment. Alright, having a look at the rest of what is going on, checking out the Navy, and we can see that Magnet is still being harassing, just sending frigates here, there and everywhere, not building up a force. The intent is to be raiding, just to move around, kill off engineers, reduce build power, and be annoying. Bit of a fight going on this side. It's going to go bad for Biomutant. He just had the 1 frigate against a frigate and a sub, but some reinforcements turn up. The frigate should go, and the sub should be primary by the sub, because without a sub to kill a sub, you need torpedoes to kill a sub, and frigates don't have any, so yeah, he's going to need to help out that. This frigate is going to go on down. That is the small skirmish done there. The T1 bombers from Baller have wandered down this direction, and they're just going to slowly kill off the eco that's sitting in this crater. Instead, no engineers in there. Maybe the engineers already died. I can't see it. Maybe it's wandered off the cliff and getting some extra eco there. But either way, these bombers are free to kill off all of it. Oh, that's what happened. They killed the Engie, there he is, and, well, they bombed at the same time. So first bomb killed the Engie, second bomb killed the wreck. Single sub, tickling away at a frigate. That frigate will take longer to die than usual because it has torpedo defense. An interesting thing, more engineers dropped here for Battlefront. He's determined to get this area, and he's got an interceptor around. That is going to be helpful to take care of the bomber. The engineers can now rebuild. They can look at maybe slapping down a factory. Whatever the case is, they can grab that eco now and have some air defense to help repel that. There is skirmish here of some air, though they bypass each other quite amusingly. Still some bombers loitering around this direction. They have been irritating enough to take out the mass, so some more engineers going to need to be dropped into there to rebuild that. Land is a wee bit quiet on the south. It appears that Oriko is holding a line there, just spamming out some units. He has got some incoming. And indeed, we see Fokov is getting T2 on his commander, so he could start being annoying with T2 PD, hold this area and push on back. Top section not looking so good for Battlefront though. Definitely under pressure here. He has way fewer units, although a T2 engineer has popped up, starting on a T2 PD, while some T1 NGs are doing up the T1 PD first. Going to keep the units in front here just to buy some time, I think. They can keep these away whilst they build the point defense. That will be a huge help. Single transport under threat from an Indy dies, out of fuel, flying slow, gets murdered. Right, T1 PD up and T2 PD on the way. More force here coming in from Nova Space, just looking for something to kill. A few frigates, a couple of subs. Maybe they're just moving around to go for eco. T2 in the air. This is from Battlefront. That is a torpedo bomber looking to defend his shores. Indeed, he has T2 there. He's going for some gunships now. And I imagine that is to try and help at the top section. The other air player here, we have 50% of the way towards T3 air. Oriko is pushing hard for that and is getting there. Going to be the first one to T3 air, not by a long shot. He's way behind. Nori has done nothing all game, but that's because he's gone straight for T3 air. He's got the T3 factory and he's got T3 power up already. My oh my, he has really pushed that. He's maybe a bit behind on the eco side of things. These are all T2 mixes and some of them aren't even capped, so he has really rushed that T3 era, wanting to get that advantage as soon as possible. Down this direction, same thing here. T2 mass extractor is not capped for Oriko, but he's well behind on that air. Alright, let's have a quick check the rest of the map, and up the front, this is Biomutant, very far forward with his commander, getting a T2 upgrade underwater. That cannot be good for your health, because that is a T2 sub. That's a Barracuda T2 sub. That is going to be able to do a good amount of damage to that com. They need to think about ways to prevent that. Some T1 submarines, they're not going to do a heck of a lot. They're just going to be a bit of a distraction for the Barracuda. Those torpedo bombers from somebody would be really, really helpful. Sticking to the upgrade might not be the best of ideas. Trying to bring us some units to help, but that Barracuda is going to be the problem. There we go, some torpedo bombers are coming in, but the ASS are in the region from Mr. Nori, and that's going to be an issue. The torpedoes are landing on the Barracuda though. Another couple of runs from those and it will be dead. It's going to keep Biomutant alive a little bit longer. 6,500 health. I'm not sure why he went for T2. Maybe instead of T2 he could have gone for the torpedo upgrade. Did he misclick? Only he will know. But he's going to finish that upgrade and he can now start doing things like throwing down torpedo launchers that will die in a heartbeat because there's too many frigates in his face. Maybe he wants to think about not being up front with his commander in front of any other units that he owns. They're all the way back here. He's going to want to be very, very cautious on that. And, well, at this point, I'll start reclaiming the frigates above me. No point trying to build because they're just killing them off before they do anything. Torpedo bombers trying to help, some frigates coming in of his own and a sub, but there's still that T2 sub coming in here from Nova Space. Going to do some extra damage to that commander who's trying to put up torpedo launchers. Still not the greatest plan in my thoughts, although if you can distract long enough to get it up, well, it's not going to last very long actually. Really isn't. And what's this? T3 air, still just those coming over, that is fine. Bit of an airlock, that's a Strat bomber. There's been a shocker flying around that I've completely missed. It has been going and killing resources. Got a dead mass extractor there, dead mechs there. So this is good work with Nori. That T3 advantage is paid right off. Another bomb to kill off some more mass. There's another dead T2 mass extractor, and it is ready to... It's just going to carry on. It's just going to carry on. It's going to carry on killing eco, dropping his bomb, making things not alive, like a clump of engineers plus a T2 PD. Well, where it goes, that is 17 kills there. How's the front going? Well, this is Biomutant trying to get things done. He is slapping up torpedo defense, but it's doing nothing. He's got Barracudas bearing down on him. He needs some torpedo assistance, like his own subs, T2, maybe some T2 torpedo bombers, because those Barracudas are going to kill him. He's trying to get away now. He's making a run for it, but the question is he going to be able to make it? And even if he gets out of the water, There's going to be some frigates. They're going to be hounding these way down. 3,500 health. There's now 3 Barracudas bearing down upon him. Well into the red. 2,500. I don't think he's going to make it. More torpedoes are charging on in. And, no, I don't think he's getting out of this one, folks. 500 health. Nowhere near a beach. And there's a destroyer coming. First person out of the game is Biomutant. It's 14 minutes into the game. And his commander way up front. The T2 upgrade. A strange choice, but it is the choice he's made. So much anti-air on this particular island. T1AA, lots of engineers, some units patrolling around. I don't know if it's been worth it. The amount of mass that's been spent on here, all this T1AA, plus the NGs, plus the factory, and he's got 2 T1 mixes. Don't think it's been worth it. But that's from beside there. Strat Bomber is the same one, still going. It's got itself now 24 kills, just like going around the edges, cleaning off islands of any kind of mass extractors there are. Doesn't want to get too close over here, by the way. And hello, Mercies. Ooh. Oriko's up to something. He does have T3 air, but he's also getting a bunch of Mercies out. He is flying them down this direction. I wonder if he is planning to go for a Fokoff. It wouldn't surprise me he's got the ground forces to maybe push if he can hide the Mercies down here, keep them away from the T1 air, keep them away from the T3 air. Because speaking of T3, here comes that strat. It may very well start dropping bombs on this slot. Looks like that's exactly where it's going. The strat's in. Or is it going to go for the point defense? The answer is point defense. Why not? Kill the T2PD, kill the flak, do a Yui and get out of there. Some defending. Oh, hello, there's another drop. Bunches of engineers though. Those coming over from Fokoff looking to make a play from this point. But there's an engineer from Oriko. I doubt he's paying attention. Yeah. Fokoff is paying far more attention, getting a capture command on the mass extractor. And I imagine he's going to try and capture that engine X or reclaim. Probably just reclaim. Yeah, you don't capture NGs unless you know for certain they're not going to react. Another strat bomb away, another giant number of units dead. 45 kills now, 9.5k mass almost. Bomber has definitely played for itself. Having a quick look up the top here, and well, Battlefront's done okay. He's managed to push this far up with his units, but they're in a nice single file ready to be walked over. I can hear the commander. And some absolutely... I'm imagining things, not the commander. Just, oh no, there is. Did hear it. Nice and close, but he's walking back as he should. No need to stay up front. In the middle, though, we have a bunch of T2. We've got a destroyer with some flak, some floating blazers, and they need to keep on the move because if they sit still, they'll be introduced to the missile end of this Seraphim cruiser. Most attack missiles do not stop. There is a couple of defending destroyers out there from Battlefront, so that's all good. In this direction, T3 air has been amassed by Oriko, so he's got a bunch of zone ACFs in play. Still with the Mercies back here, just waiting for the opportunity to have a go. I imagine they must be thinking about focusing on here. Got himself a TAC missile launcher. I wonder what kind of range that has. Let's have a see. Well, not a huge amount, but he could start trying to tack those factories down there, particularly the T2HQ. If that goes down, that will be an annoying thing. The fact is already damaged, so maybe he tried. Okay, so I think he's fired one missile from this already, and well, it's done some mass damage. So get one more missile out of that, fire it off, and that will be the end of this T2HQ. No engineers coming out, no repairs being done. It's just waiting to be sneezed on. Over this direction, having some problems getting pushed on. After this is units from both Magnet and Oriko, maybe a wee bit more of the coordination thing, and they might have gotten this point defense down faster. But as it should die from the arty shells coming on over, won't be much left on the ground though. Aurora is doing their thing, plinking away at the commander at range. Commander has walked in front of the... There we go, there come the Mercies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that is enough to kill Fokoff. No AA in front of him. The Mercies were free to just roll straight on through. Enough to kill him from basically full health. Not so good. Strat Bomber, is that the same strat? Yes, it is. 53 kills now, 12k mass destroyed. Having some fun, maybe gets a little bit too close to all those T1 AAs, taking a big hammering of damage. The regen should help it stay alive a little bit longer. Rolling over the top section though, this is units from Battlefront. They have decided they want to claim the top island, and claiming it they are. Point points was trying to be spammed up there by Nori, but not enough assistance or not enough engineers, not enough time perhaps. Whatever the case is, it did not complete, and it is now just scrap waiting to be reclaimed basically. So there we go, top section has been claimed by Battlefront. Basically a few things left back over this direction, but they won't last too long. The bottom island stretch is looking fairly... What was that? Oh no, they're going to lose that. I'll lose that to Ardy. I had a missile ready to go. But the bottom island is looking mostly in the control of Team 2. But the Navy, big central unit of Navy in the middle for Nova Space. And this is a scary little blob. It's got a few destroyers, got some T2 subs in there, got a bunch of frigates. It's going to be something difficult to dislodge. Got a drop coming in here from Baller, wanting to grab some of those just engineers. Just say, probably coming over here to grab some of the reclaim. He's got his own small group of units over there. Mostly T1, a few T2 scattered in, got a few destroyers there, a few subs. Something to be concerned about is the incoming here from Magnet, a decent amount of T2 in that mix. There's some T2 in here from Battlefront, but there's also a split force from Battlefront. Throwing his frigates out the front to be distracting, do some damage soaking whilst the destroyers run away. Now, the amusing thing about Cyber destroyers is they can't shoot backwards. When they're running away, they cannot shoot behind them. There's a very big tower in the way, so the guns cannot actually turn and face directly backwards. So if they're running, they're just free hits from behind. On an angle, they can do some damage, but directly from behind, not a lot they can do. Torpedo bombers coming in from Nori, going to help clean those up, get some extra damage going down on those. And this continues the push from Nova Space, but it is an air fight right here. This is going to be very important, and that's not the greatest turn from Orico. This ASFs took off and promptly turned tail to the ASS belonging to Nori, and that is a solid air victory there. Orico runs away with what few ASFs he has left, but now along comes the cruiser Magnet. This should be good for taking out the... well, a couple of cruisers actually. This should be good for taking out some of these torpedo bombers in nice fashion. The flak can also do a reasonable amount of damage to the ASFs if they launch around like this. Just keep spamming up the flak. These shots will land, and the ASFs will just take hit after hit after hit. Last thing they need, they really need to scram out of there before they take totally unnecessary flak damage, which is kind of what's happening. Having a look, flak on those, and there we go, losing a few of them, taking a bunch of damage to the others. There aren't very many full health ASFs left in that bunch. Alrighty, and they're going to fly straight over the T1 AA in this direction, so we're just taking a wee bit of extra damage. Just really didn't need to be done. But it is still air versus no air. Down this direction there are 1, 2, 3, 4 air factories in production for Orico. He's going to want to try and get back into the air game. He has got a handful of ASFs, enough to defend should something come along, but what else can they do at this stage? Not a heck of a lot. Okay, we have a Navy push coming down here from Baller. He's rocking in with some T1 and some T2. Those T2 in particular are going to be able to lob their nice long range shots on this very, very flat little land. Let's have a look at that. And in fact, the frigates can probably stalk right on up and start shooting at the mass extractors too. Right, destroyers have been repurposed. They're now firing down this way. Maybe they can kill some of this in range. And this HQ is still alive on 400 health. Honestly, sneeze on that, it dies, and he loses the capability to produce T2 units like the lasers, which hover. Another couple of shots and we can say goodbye to the HQ. I am hearing Ushivas somewhere. There we go. Ilchi's in a defending battle, running away from this T1 blob from Magnet. The T1 blob's going to be horribly outmatched. It's going to die. There we go. T2 HQ is down. In fact, the factories are down. The mass is down. Some blazers from Baller have come on board as well. They're just going to kill stuff as well. We have, there we go, a Navy response coming in from Magnet. And while these guys have got a lot of work done, they've killed off a couple of mixes. They've killed off the HQ over here, and now they can retreat. Run away from the blob belonging to Magnet up the top, and still These airships like to loiter over anti-air fire. I mean, it's their choice, they're allowed to if they kind of want to, but the large group of torpedo bombers coming in from Nori, they're just the T2s, not the Solaces, but still, torps are torps. And I don't know if they're looking for a target or if they're just staging. Not too many naval units around where they're going. Perhaps they're going to swing over this direction, look at coming off here. Need to be careful. If they're in nice big clumps, they will be absolutely brutalized by these cruisers. Zero from cruisers are the only cruisers with flak, so large grouped up units will have problems with them. These guys, okay, looks like maybe the airships are coming in to be distracting units first. They certainly are in the front. And it looks like the torps are falling back, maybe changing their mind about what they're going for. Airships from Oriko in the region as well. Just wanting to keep things under control. Having a look up the top, and more and more. He's not stopping building them, is he? No, he's not. He is building all the engineers. Be better off stopping that, getting a T2NG, slapping a shield down if he really wants to keep all that, and some anti-air like flak or something. That would do a much better job. Right, we do have some naval units up here from Battlefront. They could be targets of the, yep, indeedy. Here come the torpedo bombers. They are looking for targets. They are just dropping bombs on everything. There is, what was that? Who's down there? They are actually going to decimate this. There are only a couple of cruisers in the mix. Focus those down first, and then they can just roll over any destroyers. Should be an air response. There it is. Now it's coming up from Oriko, who's still going to be cautious with his air, being a wee bit cagey. He can't afford to dive right in. There's more airships belonging to Nori. But if you can just loiter around the edges and perhaps pick off a few. Yep, there we go. Now we could think about going in, or nope, staying away from that. Still being cautious, just wanted to pick off as many of the torpedo bombers as he can, but they have done great work down here. All the cruisers are dead, and they can start getting to work on the destroyers. Destroyers will be a prime target for the torpedo bombers to have a go at. Indeed, that's what's happening. Over this direction, that's a battleship. So Nova Space has gone T3 Navy. I explain why he's a wee bit light on those ships, but the problem is, yes, you have a battleship, but you have a lot coming in towards you. Frigates of galore, a bunch of destroyers, and more coming in this direction. So, yeah, battleship, but battleship could do a lot of overkill when facing frigates en masse. Units are dropping behind the battleship, wanting to use the tankiness of that unit to keep things alive. And the battleship's doing okay, but remember, it's got a lot in front of it. Needs support. Support doesn't need to be all the way back here. They need to think about coming in and assisting and cleaning that up. More Navy pushing coming down here. This is Magnet rocking on up with his units. Many more destroyers than his opponents, who is down to 2 in total. Facing off against, what's that, 8? Yep, and cruisers. So Magnet has a very nasty looking sized bunch of Navy over this direction. That battleship is having issues. Look at the damage it is taking now. All of these TT units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 destroyers and a cruiser. And we have a short pause, and the health just drips off that galaxy. In come the torpedo bombers. They're going to finish it off. And that is a big problem for Nova Space to lose that powerful unit in the water that needed to be running away a long time ago, but now it sinks to the bottom and turns into a mass donation because this area is well under control by Battlefront. So grab some of these engines in the transport, drop them on, claim your mass, have fun. In response, well, it looks like Nova Space is actually building harms. Harms are good. They are very, very good at stopping the Navy coming on in. They're excellent at that. They can be defeated by a couple of means, easily. One is taking a battleship, which outranges their range, and doing a ground fire, so that the shells land on top of it and that they damage it from above. The other thing I found out more recently is cruisers. UEF or Seraphim cruisers, they can ground fire with attack missiles, and they have enough splash damage, well, to damage the harm. They can actually damage the harm. So Nova Space still sitting there. He's got a torpedo on his comm. He's got T3. Maybe let's think about slapping up a few more of those to help breach breach, help defend that particular breach. Over this direction, lots of T2 Navy coming on up from Magnet, but there's torpedo bombers in the air, and they are doing all they can do. Some subs are coming on up. Perhaps they're going to focus down on the cruiser. Definitely want to focus down on the cruiser. Get rid of that. It's going to leave all of these basically defenseless. And here's the Navy push coming in from Battlefront's torpedo on Nova's comm. That is going to assist in cleaning things up, but have a look at the range on that thing. Just causes mayhem. Get a whole bunch of them that cause a lot of mayhem. Well, the Navy has not really been stopped. There's a lot of very heavily damaged destroyers. They're only going to take a sneeze. 195 health on that one, 630 on that one. This one's way down the red, 215, so yeah. They'll die pretty easily, except for the Micro. Micro with the dodge, avoiding these shots from the Aeon destroyers. It's pretty much how you beat Aeon. Micro. Dodge, twist and weave, but torpedo bombers around as well. Those destroyers are not going to last too much longer, and there'll be some nice mess to pick up. We do have a secondary push coming in here, Battlefront. He's following in up behind Magnet, wanting to do some extra damage, but that is not looking like it's going to be happening. Broadswords. No, Spectre, sorry. I thought they were broadswords, but there's no UEF. How can I say broadswords? There's no UEF. Bottom island's not looking great. See here, this is coming from Nori. He's on the ground, but they are rocking on through. Elshivers are just cleaning up house. They have gone straight on through it, and they can keep going through. It's only T1 on the ground. As long as they don't stray too close to the coast for the destroyers to pick them up, he should be okay. Navy over here, well, that has been stopped. The production is going to be kept alive quite critically. Don't want to lose that. Lots of torpedo bombers overhead. We have destroyers rocking in here from Nova Space. His commander is walking in as well, throwing in the extra torpedo. Quite strong, the torpedoes on that commander. Can do a serious amount of damage when they connect. And the torpedoes are going to be picked up by the air wing from Orico, who comes in for a sweep, then turns away. Doesn't want to engage in air just yet, perhaps. Up on the top island, and this is actually from Nova Space. He's pushing the top island, doing a great job, and they're going to run into some point defense. It's going to probably shred these units. They won't have a good time, but he's done good strides on claiming that and holding that. Navy is still looking in place though. 3 destroyers, 4 destroyers, and a mermaid. They're all coming on in. They need something. Some hover as well. Yingzings rocking on up from belonging to Battlefront. So he's got Seraphim and Cybernetech, probably because Biomutant dies. That's where his Cybernetech is coming from. Oh, and the torpedo swarm going for Nova. Nova in the water out front, no air support, and that is enough torpedo bombs to kill him outright, and he is gone from the game. Caught out. Air was way back here, not picking up, not watching. I do not know what was there, but goodbye Nova. Taken down by a torpedo snipe, losing a very strong unit in the water there. We built more harms, could have done everything else. Did have more battleships coming on out, but over this direction, this is Baller. Baller is, wow, his base has gone to too many units coming on in, and that's a control K from Baller. That's a control K from Nori. They're not going to see this one out. They might have had the side islands, but they didn't have the Navy, and the Navy is what wins this map.